Trump's contraction of the virus, which I will not be mentioning by name, brings with it enhanced levels of uncertainty and instability, which makes this situation a terrible one for anyone that's got money tied up in the market right now. We know that investors hate these types of market conditions, and with futures being down as much as they were after the initial announcement, this was a clear indicator of that. Regardless of how this plays out in the end, one thing is certain: we're going to see a highly volatile market in the next couple of weeks. A market that has the potential to put a significant dent in your portfolio. So in this video, I'll be telling you exactly what to look for and what you need to do in order to avoid losing half of your portfolio. And we're going to be starting right now. Hey, what's going on? It's Pat from Top Ticker Trades. If this is your first time here and you want to learn how to grow your wealth through investing and trading stocks in the market, make sure you start right now by subscribing and tapping that bell so you never miss a thing. I'll see you in the video. Let's go. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Today we've got a serious topic to discuss. We're going to be talking about Donald Trump, his contraction of the virus, which I can't mention by name, and I think everyone here knows why. And we're going to talk about the effects that it's going to have on the stock market, and more specifically on your portfolio, and what you can do in order to protect yourself from any of the pitfalls that we're going to be talking about. So there's a lot of speculation that if Trump's condition worsens, it will secure a Democratic victory. Now, in turn, this will drop the market even more, but it seems that experts have debunked this theory. Now, another concern floating around is that this may postpone elections. But one important thing that we need to look at is the 14-day pattern that other virus patients seem to follow. Now, to be clear on that, not every single patient with this virus has followed this pattern, but on average, I would say most of the patients do. So that's why we're using this 14-day pattern. Now, the significance of following this pattern, or having something to follow, is that it lets us know where we should be expecting Trump to be in his treatment. Should his condition be worse right now? Should he be feeling well and hopping around? That's what we need to know, because that's what's going to move markets. And tomorrow marks day number 5, which could show us some very serious symptoms. Now, keep in mind that the Trump administration is likely to try to fluff this up and reduce it to something less serious than it actually is. Some believe that this is what we're seeing right now, like the White House releasing photos and videos that would suggest that Trump is handling the virus pretty well. We've also heard statements from his doctors who also appear to suggest that he is doing well. But there are several indicators that would suggest otherwise. One example, Trump's fluctuating oxygen levels, and the fact that he was treated with steroids are concerning factors that seem to tell a different story, specifically the steroid treatment. If Trump was really in as good a shape as everybody says he is, including himself, with posting videos and everything, then why would they move towards using a steroid, dexamethasone, which could possibly have some negative effects on his health? Now, in a second, we're going to go over what his doctors actually said, or some of the things that they've said, and the other items that he's been treated with. But first, let me tell you about dexamethasone. It's used to head off an immune system overreaction that kills many virus patients. Normally, we wouldn't expect to see this treatment unless the patient is in critical condition with severe symptoms. Now, one of the top physicians at Northwell Health, which is the largest healthcare provider in New York, Dr. Thomas McGinn, commented on the use of dexamethasone by saying that it was normally not used unless the patient's condition is deteriorating. He further went on to say, and I quote, "They're throwing the kitchen sink at him. Is he sicker than we're hearing, or are they overly aggressive because he is the president, in a way that could be potentially harmful," end quote. So we know that Trump entered Walter Reed on Friday after his positive test result. And on Saturday, Dr. Sean Dooley announced that Trump had normal kidney, liver, and cardiac functioning. On Sunday, his doctors said that he'd been fever-free for at least 24 hours, wasn't on oxygen, and didn't have difficulty breathing or walking. Now, this is where I have to ask myself, why would they have started dexamethasone treatment if everything was fine and dandy? He wasn't on oxygen, didn't even have a fever. I mean, this doesn't make any type of sense to me whatsoever. Now, from his previous treatment, we know that Trump was being treated with Regeneron, which is an antibody cocktail, and has been started on remdesivir, which is made by Guild. It's a 5-day treatment, and he's also taking some vitamins and things of that nature. So just so you guys understand the timeline and have a pretty much a clear picture, Trump first announced his diagnosis on Friday, but he was first diagnosed with the virus on Thursday, and he received the antibody cocktail on Friday. Now, Friday morning, Dr. Conley was concerned about Trump's condition, and specifically, he said that he was concerned about Trump's condition becoming progressively worse, and that's when he decided to put Trump on some oxygen. He said that Trump's oxygen levels fell to 94%, and after he received oxygen, which he didn't need for a few minutes, his levels went back to 95. And just so you understand where this information came from, after Trump checked into Walter Reed, or was taken to Walter Reed, there was a press conference with his doctors on Saturday, and then another press conference on Sunday. So I have several concerns about these press conferences, because it's obvious that the doctors, specifically Dr. Connolly, was being dishonest and contradicting himself, from the things he said in the Saturday conference, and then with the things that he said in the Sunday conference. And then he was asked about that, and the explanations that he gave were kind of, didn't seem genuine, and they were off. And I'm going to actually show you clips of that, because if you haven't seen it, I think that it's very important that you guys see it for yourselves. But one of the questions that came up, and this was in the Saturday conference, was when they thought that Trump might be getting released. And Dr. Conley responds by saying that he doesn't want to give a hard date on that, but he's doing so well. But with the known course of the illness, the first 7 to 10 days are what's known as phase 2, and those are the days that they're very concerned about. And this is known as the inflammatory phase. And so the significance of him actually saying that is because the next day, they start talking about releasing Trump again, and they're saying, okay, well, Trump could, he's doing so much better, he could be getting released as soon as Monday, which would be the following day, and I believe that would have been day 5. Now, my question is, if the first 7 to 10 days are very concerning, and the 7th day is where that inflammatory phase that they're really concerned about starts, why would they release him out of their care, or release him out of Walter Reed, on the 5th day? It doesn't make much sense. Now, here's another big thing that stands out. Initially at the Saturday press conference, Dr. Conley was asked about the use of oxygen, whether Trump had received any oxygen. And of course, Conley stated that Trump had not had any oxygen in the last 2 days, but wouldn't comment on whether or not he'd had oxygen, whatsoever. He just kept repeating, well, he has not had any oxygen in the last 2 days. He was also asked whether or not they monitored for any type of damage, like organ damage, and asked him specifically about the lungs. Now, he did say, oh yeah, we monitor that every day, but then would not comment on whether or not Trump had any damage to his lungs. So they asked him again, and he again, said, we monitor that every day. I'm not going to go into specifics, and just refused to answer the question, which pretty much lets me know that, yeah, they did find some damage. Now, this was also brought up again the next day, and he deflected, but pretty much hinted that, or the way that he said it, it was obvious that, some damage was found. I'm going to play that clip of Sunday's press conference, and basically what I want you guys to see here. One of the questions that he was asked during this update, because this was an update to the Saturday, they asked, why were you so reluctant until today to disclose that the president had been administered oxygen? Now, some of you may have seen this before, others, this will be your first time watching, but what I want you guys to do is, after you've seen it, leave me a comment below and let me know your thoughts on this answer. And, tell me if I'm crazy or, if there's reason for concern here.
Scan showing any irregularities in his lungs. Are there any opacities? Are there anything?
To disclose that the president had been administered oxygen.
It's a good question.
Thank you.
I was trying to reflect the upbeat attitude that the team, the president, his course of illness has had. Didn't want to give any information that might steer the course of illness in another direction, and in doing so, it came off that we were trying to hide something, which wasn't necessarily true, so here I have it. He is the fact of the matter is that he's doing really well. That he is responding, and as the team said, if everything continues to go well, we're going to start discharge planning back to the White House.
Okay, so I definitely hope I'm not alone in thinking that what we just watched here, was completely crazy. But let me know in the comments below. Like I said earlier, I do have one more clip for you to watch. It's a short clip, a minute or less, and then we're going to get into a few things. But this next clip that I'm about to show you, in my opinion, is much worse than this first one.
That the president was in great shape, had been in good shape and fever-free for the previous 24 hours. Minutes after your press conference, White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows told reporters that the president's vitals were very concerning over the past 24 hours. Simple question for the American people. Whose statements about the president's health should we believe?
So the chief and I work side by side, and I think his statement was misconstrued. What he meant was that 24 hours ago, when he and I were checking on the president, that there was that momentary episode of the high fever and that temporary drop in the saturation, which prompted us to act expediently to move him up here. Fortunately, that was really a very transient, limited episode. A couple hours later, he was back up, mild again. I'm not going to speculate what that limited episode was about so early in the course, but he's doing well.
So to me, it's obvious that Connolly is lying and they're hiding something, like his true condition, from the public. And with that being said, it doesn't necessarily have to have any negative implications behind it, because after all, it is election time. And with Trump being the type of person that he is, I'm assuming that he will want to project an image of himself which would be positive, and he wants to portray strength. But I am interested in knowing what you guys think of this. But another thing is, if his illness is perceived as serious, or a serious health issue at the time of election, then it could have a negative impact on his chances of being reelected. So that's kind of what this may be about more than anything else, but we'll just have to watch this and see how it develops and how it plays out. However, keep in mind that, if his condition does worsen, that's going to mean trouble for the stock market. So with that being said, I would highly suggest that you protect yourself for the next couple of weeks at least, until we have more certainty around Trump's condition and kind of know which direction the market is going to be going. And I would suggest that anyone heavily margined right now start paying that back. And another thing I want to mention is that if we see a big drop in the market, do not put all your money into it on the initial drop. It could always go down further. So always kind of scale into your positions until you know what's going on. And I would definitely recommend hedging. You could use some inverse ETFs. You can use options. I would recommend hedging with options. And if you guys need to know how to do that, I've got several videos out on that. Also, if you guys have any questions, if you need to know more about using options to hedge your position, or just want to know more things that you can do in order to protect yourself in a volatile market, make sure you ask those in the comments below. I do read all of my comments. If I need to, I'll make a video just to answer your questions if I get enough of the same question. And I'm always happy to help out. But do take this seriously, because this is something that could completely make the market go the opposite direction of where we're wanting it to go, at least for most people. So take this seriously. Make sure you protect yourself. Leave me any questions in the comments below. Don't forget to comment on the 2 clips that I showed. And I do appreciate you guys being here, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen, you've made it to the end of the video. If you found this video helpful, I ask that you help this channel out by smashing that like button, as it motivates me to keep making videos just like this one every single day. If you're not a subscriber, you should consider subscribing, as I publish valuable content like this daily. You can do so from your screen right now, and if you want to check out more of my videos, you can click on the video that you'd like to see on your screen right now. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.